Okay, Bunker to Bunker episode. We have Father's Day edition. My father, happy Father's Day to you. We're doing this 7:53 Sunday night. Bryson DeChambeau coming off his second U.S. Open victory at Pinehurst. He won the 2020 U.S. Open at Winged Foot with no fans at all. He really showed himself on Sunday. Today, Dad, first of all, as I said, happy Father's Day.
Thank
This
you.
is probably maybe the best gift I could give you to come
It's
on
the
the
only
podcast.
gift.
I did buy
I don't
some.
recall getting a gift today, but this is great, Josh. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of Bunker to Bunker.
Thank you. I mean, you are a day one fan
Yes.
to this point, and more to come. But what is your reaction to the theatrics we saw at Pinehurst number 2?
Well, when you don't have a rooting interest, you're just rooting for that great ending to a round, and especially just I was hoping for a tie break that we haven't had one in a while, or especially at a major. So it had the makings of that. And then when Rory missed his first putt, like the short putt, I think it was 15 or 16. And then DeChambeau right afterward does the same. So you're facing that prospect of a playoff. And it was going to be epic with, DeChambeau who defected to live.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of fans behind him for sure. You heard the USA chants. You have Rory, who has been pro PGA Tour. So I thought it was the best of both worlds of colliding into one. That was going to be an epic 2024 U.S. Open, and then Rory misses inside of 4 feet, a little slider, but he was definitely tentative on it. And DeChambeau deserved to win when he hits an absolute bunker shot from 40 or 50 yards out and puts it right underneath the hole and wins the tournament. Deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Bryson. He missed a 4-footer. Forget what hole. Rory missed another one, as you said, which was actually, I think, 3 feet, which they said he hasn't. I think Justin Ray tweeted out something that I think it was 400 and something putts he's had this year inside 3 feet, and now it's like his first miss.
Yeah.
So it was pretty shocking. Obviously, Bryson, he deserved to win it. I've talked a lot about Bryson on this podcast, as you know, and I guess this is not your style of golf, but the YouTube side of things has really made him more of like a fan favorite. He kind of does these wonky challenges. Like I think he played 9 holes for someone with the old Curry style of clubs, and he wore the whole suit. He's played with kids clubs.
He's played Phil 9 holes and
money matches.
Money matches, right?
I mean, that's the reason why he went there, because for Liv, I think they said on the broadcast is that over the last couple of years, golf isn't life. For him, he had to try to figure out some sort of balance of being this mad scientist, which he's done, but also build something else on the whole side of things. And I think he's really built himself brand up over the last couple of years since him and Brooks had a feud. He said some not so great comments on Fox News wherein he officially signed to Live Golf. It's awesome to see. I found it funny. There's a video just before we hopped on, is that he said during his press conference after that he wanted all the fans to touch the trophy, and I'm pretty sure he actually did go around and have the fans touch a trophy, which you don't ever see that happen in sports. So definitely a great. Do you think this was a great ending, even though we didn't get a playoff?
Well, it's going to be a memorable ending, and is it memorable? What are you going to remember more? Are you going to remember the 40-yard 18th hole line 2? At that point, you're sitting there. If he can just get on 2 putt, get to the playoff, you're thinking, and he hits this miracle. I mean, really, it was a borderline incredible shot to get up and down and win the U.S. Open. Are you going to remember that, or are you going to remember Rory's complete tentative 18? It was a little bit of a slider, but he never followed through on that putt. Like your brother said, Justin, he said he stabbed at it. He definitely was really tentative. And unfortunately, in America, we focus more on the negative than the positive, and I think it's not going to be rememberable for a great shot. It's going to be that Rory lost the U.S. Open with 2 short putts within the last 4 holes. And I think that's going to be what we all remember. And unfortunately, it sucks. And it'll be interesting to see if how he goes into the British and goes into the Open Championship, because this one's going to be one that could be a little bit of a lingering effect. This is one that he hasn't won a major in 10 years, since 2014.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one that it'll show a ton of character if he can come back and play top 5 golf like he's been doing pretty much all season, to see if he can rebound. But this one's gonna sting.
Yeah. I mean, I want to ask you, like, when Rory misses that putt, like, what's the first thought that comes in? Like, what other golf memory kind of came first? Which I thought first, it was 2015, Chambers Bay. Spieth makes a birdie on 18, the par 5, in the second to final group to go up 1, and DJ needed to birdie the par 5 to force a playoff or to win, I forget. But DJ, he 3-putt from 20 feet or something.
Right.
I think his was like a 5-footer. I thought of that first. I also saw a clip of that, so I think that was like the first thought that came to my head, because it's a putt. But for you, with Rory choking, like, what kind of other golf memory comes up with the experience that you have?
Recent memory, one that we watched together, probably Tiger winning in 19. But it's Tiger, so you're only going to remember the Jim Nantz ball of Return to Glory. But rewind it an hour and a half, and Francisco Molinari gave that to Tiger. Tiger played an incredible 15th, played one into the par 5 and put it on there. Lag putted it for eagle, tap in bird, and then he does what he did on 16, where he rolls it this far, right past the hole, and left himself a 4-foot putt uphill. So back-to-back birds. So you could argue that he won it. The flip side is Francisco Molinari on 13 on the par 3, 12 on the par 3, completely puts it right in the water. And then people forget on 15, he was on the left side of the fairway, clips the tree or hits a pine cone, and it comes down and he lands in the water there because he's there in position to battle him, because he was only 1 down at the time. So Molinari, probably in the last 5 years, might have been one of the bigger chokes. But this Rory one is one of the worst I've seen, probably dating back to a British Open, an Open Championship with a guy named Jean Van de Velde that just absolutely, he just had to, I think he had a par or bogey out at the end, and it was just the worst choke, and he was in the ravine at one point. He takes his shoes off. He's trying to get in the water, play it out. He skunks it, puts another pot bunker. I mean, it was just one of those where you're watching a train wreck happen in front of your eyes. So that guy always stands out, and anyone watching this, they would probably, that's 50-some years old like me and older, are going to remember that. God, Francisco Molinari stands out to me, though, because that was his tournament to win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I had some bias with the Dustin Johnson putt. I mean, we also saw in 2022 at the PGA, Mito Pereira puts it into that creek, and JT and Zalatoris have either a 2 or 3 hole playoff. I forget what the PGA does. But if we had a playoff this year, they would have went back to 17 and 18 and played both holes like that. But yeah, it's pretty shocking. Rory's on like the record saying that, I don't know the exact quote, but basically paraphrasing his quote is that, he, wants to continue to put himself in these like positions, lives for these types of moments, and it kind of all came like crashing down. I mean, we all know his personal life and the tour and live. So he's kind of taking a beating, mostly from like the PGA Tour and the Saudis and all that stuff. So I kind of felt like I felt like I was rooting for Rory, especially on like the front nine. So like, were you cheering for Bryson or
Nah, I was just
Rory
rooting
down the
for it.
stretch?
I was disappointed.
Yeah,
I was certainly rooting for just that 2-hole aggregate finish just to see golf because we finally got a classic ending and we just haven't had a playoff in a long time. And, so I didn't have any $5 bets on it. I didn't have anything on it other than I just wanted to see a classic finish, which it turned out to be. Other than after DeChambeau's tee shot on 18, and he literally doesn't have any backswing at
yeah,
all, and he puts himself into that bunker, but he was well short of the green. You're sitting there going, okay, this is the playoff. He'll get on, leave himself 15, 20 feet, putt it, then leave himself a tap in for bogey, and they go back to 17.
yeah,
There's your playoff. So that's what I was rooting for. I didn't have any
yeah,
rooting in well because I actually really like Rory, and I'm not a fan of the live golf, so I'm not really a fan of what's happened
yeah,
to most people. My generation don't. They don't like that many of them defected, and I really like Rory that he is so supportive of the PGA Tour. And Bryson's shenanigans from years ago, but
right,
he did show me a lot in this tournament, even when he came off that one hole and he had the handicap child there. And not only did he shake his hand, he signs his hat,
yeah,
takes just high-fiving all the players. The PGA Tour needs more of that attitude. So he did show me a lot in the last 4 days, and he showed me a lot back in the PGA Championship, which he pushed his hand right to the end.
yeah. I mean, I think he's really, said this like before. I mean, he really cares about the fans. They showed, I think, after round 3, he wasn't even inside like the ropes. He was just out with these kids and fans. He directed the fans to the driving range. I think he went back to hit some balls after round 3 and said, you got to just like wait here for however time. I'll come and sign everything, take as many like pictures, and then we saw what he did on that one hole. Obviously, as I said, the whole like trophy presentation, I guess he let fans touch the trophy. So yeah, he really does care, and I think I feel like people don't talk about is that he cares so much, and he said in his press conference and after I think it was round 3 or round 4 after the PGA, he said that he's there to play golf, but he's also there to entertain. Like he is, like he's on like TV, and we don't see these guys like a Cantlay. He's still like nonchalant, and Xander was very nonchalant, and Bryson brings out this like energy. I think we can like relate to because we're doing that on our, bogey putt to, push a hole,
Right.
So like, what like is that? Does that side of Bryson make you enjoy his like presence a lot more?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I think what's missing from the PGA Tour, if you didn't see it, I mean, not that I watch a lot of live golf. I know they can wear shorts, they're laid back, they're playing like a shotgun type start. They play music during the round. So they're trying to create more of that fan-friendly party atmosphere versus the old stuffy, country club mystique
Right.
a bit, taking it way too serious. Quiet, please. I love that there's engagement with the fans. I love that he's showing emotion. Yeah, I think that the PGA Tour needs more people like Bryson. He really made me turn. So again, I think I mentioned about shenanigans from some years ago with the whole Brooks Koepka thing. It's like I just felt that he was almost more or less picking the fight more than the other way around. But he's really shown me a lot over the last couple tournaments for sure.
Yeah.
And it really kind of shows you what the tour really needs because the Patrick Cantlays aren't it. They're just too blah. The person, and it's nothing against him. His golf game is freaking great, but he's just too stoic, too serious, doesn't engage with the fans at all. They just beeline straight to the next tee box. And I think what Bryson showed is, hey, one, I could still have fun out there and win, which he did, and engage with the fans and really have that type of relationship with the fans and connect with them. And that's what's missing from the sport. That's what's missing from some of these players that probably take it a little too serious while they're still making multi-million dollars.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to tell someone not to change like who they are, but I mean, golf does lack. I mean, you also know. I think this podcast doesn't really exist unless Spieth does what he did. That kind of became more of like the golf fan. But my boys Spieth and Thomas, who Spieth brought that. JT brings that, but they're like not playing well. JT missed the cut.
Right.
Spieth was in.
Ricky's been pretty non-existent the last few years.
Yeah, I mean,
Been
he
a little
won.
bit
I
of
mean,
he shined a little bit latter in the
Yeah.
last year.
So, and we kind of lost those big personalities, I guess, like the Patrick Reeds of like the world, Brooks Koepka, Bryson. I can go on, and Phil.
Oh,
I guess.
Sergio even, and I know he's probably a little dated at this stage, but he had that kind of fire too.
With Tiger.
What's that?
I mean, him and Tiger went back and forth when they were young and had that feud.
And Tiger, in his own way, connected, even though he did it in his own way, because he was exuberant and fist pumps, and the fans love that. And that's why the ratings for the Ryder Cups are typically higher than the ratings for a PGA Championship, because the everyday person, the fan that's, a sports fan that's not into golf, they see this team event, they see this national thing, they see USA versus Europe, and there's a reason why Europe typically is performed better than USA is because they come together as a team, and they love the engagement with the fans, where a lot of the USA players, they struggle. I mean, it's almost out like to think about. They showed the highlights of Cantlay going at it when he, with the match in last year in the Ryder Cup. And it's just it's like, wow, I've never seen Patrick Cantlay ever act like this. Where he's trying to get the few American fans that were there last year overseas, but trying to get them going in Rome. And it didn't seem like genuine. It just seemed like it was like, it's like I've never seen this before.
Right.
Where a lot of the Europeans have that fire. Rory's always had that fire and energy. A lot of those players have had a lot of energy. Sergio was one that definitely had that energy for that team. The problem with Sergio, the argument we would make about Sergio until he won a Masters, was that he cared more about the Ryder Cup than the majors. And that's why people would say, like, that's why he's never won a major, because that was his major wrapped up in the one or the Ryder Cup. And that's why he did.
Yeah. I actually kind of want to pivot. I've talked about a lot here, a lot of like the hardcore golf fans in the space that I'm trying to join in. We dissect course every week. At the PGA Championship, Valhalla was like too easy, long, thick rough. The greens weren't that hard. It was kind of just like a putting contest. Yep. Players would rather short side themselves because it's not a hard chip up and down. You really didn't feel Xander was going to make a double down that stretch. We come to like Pinehurst, completely different style of like golf. We saw these bogeys, missed putts. So for you, I would call it an above average fan.
Right.
For golf, which isn't really saying much.
Average golfer. I was going to say thank you.
No, not golfer. But like, what did you like about the course of Pinehurst this week?
Well, again, it's a U.S. Open. It's weird because you're so used to high rough, and I guess the coverage was calling it like the native ground or native land or whatever, native area.
I think
it seemed like those high, tall grass. It's almost hard to get stuck into them. It seemed like most players. It wasn't just Bryson, especially on Saturday. It's like when Bryson did hit in there, it always wound up in like a nice spot right in between this high grass and left it, very playable. We saw a lot of that. So I thought that was kind of unique. For the most part, the players were able to escape out of it. So many other U.S. Opens were set up like if you're 3 feet off the fairway, you're basically chopping one out. It's almost like a 1 penalty. And these guys were knocking them. Even Bryson was in a bad spot on 18 again, and he was able, with a half a swing, was able to pop one all the way down to get within, 30, 40 yards to put it in that bunker, get up and down to win. So the greens is what makes Pinehurst so unique, and the pin placements so unique. I think, as we were watching it today, the first par five, I think that with number 4 and number 5.
Five.
Number 5, where Rory just crushes a drive and then just bullets one up. And he's this far from it, staying right there, putting for 20, 25 feet, pretty much guaranteed bird, if not rolled in for eagle. And then he goes back down into a bad spot where Cantley went into the bunker. Rory went into even a worse spot, kind of found like a crater it went into. And now he takes a single. It takes a bogey. So he went from putting for eagle to being probably pretty glad they were saying, like, just make a 6. Don't go worse than 6. So the telecast is telling you play for a bogey where he was versus he was this close from putting for eagle. So that's the beauty of a lot of these courses. That was the beauty of Pinehurst. The greens and the pin placements just made it incredibly interesting. And you just got to play those spots on the green. You got to be so smart. And, that to me is makes Pinehurst pretty unique.
Yeah, I mean, I was told by a source who's on the grounds once said that Bryson told them that this course is a lot of luck, that you can hit, be like a Rory, goes into a bunker. It's that like 2-shot swing. I thought Bryson, he hit I think 4 fairways out of maybe 13 or 14, which that was like the lowest of the final round. And he just scrambled so well. I think he got definitely a couple of like great, breaks, but, Bryson made those 5, 6 like footers, 10 footers for par, hits that incredible sand shot. So I think with that there is some luck involved in it, and being so like firm and really challenging to get, you have to prove yourself, that you have a complete game. And I thought Pinehurst really brought that out of the players, and you kind of saw it, it was Cantlay, Bryson, and Rory, and Finau, and you had Ludwig, who's a star now. Like, you have like the best players up there. So I really, I forget how many times that we're coming back to Pinehurst, but I know that the they're coming here. I think the USGA invested some money in Pinehurst. They might be going out there to build maybe a campus of some sort that they're really using Pinehurst. Because the PGA of America moved to, they built a course in Frisco, Texas, and kind of are making their own PGA championship course to use that as kind of a stopping ground. So I think.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
So what I have read, USGA is going to use Pinehurst as that. And obviously, like the last time we saw in 2014, Martin Keimer won, and then Michael Campbell won in 2005 at Pinehurst, and then obviously Payne Stewart won in 1999, which I do want to transition to because I was not around. I was not born in 1999. I'm a 2000 baby. So Bryson went to SMU because of Payne Stewart. He wears that Payne Stewart's hat in very early in his career because of Payne Stewart. He won here. Payne Stewart won here, the US Open in 99. So what do you remember about that US Open that Payne Stewart won?
I remember I was engaged to your mother, and we were over at their condo for Father's Day and watching it with your mother's stepfather. But it was my father-in-law for many, many years until he passed about 5 years ago now. But he was a diehard golf fan, and he's the one who kind of got me into golf when I first met your mother, and we were there watching the tournament. And the one thing that stands out, yes, Payne Stewart made that putt, and that, by the way, people think it was a putt for birdie. It was not. It was a putt for par to win.
Yeah.
So he makes this par putt to beat Mickelson. The greatest shot, probably one of the best jobs NBC ever did, was get the close of Payne Stewart grabbing Phil Mickelson's face. And he said, how great on Father's Day, and you're this close to being a father. And I think Phil was a father only 2 days later. Because the biggest story of what it was, Phil was playing great golf, hadn't won a major, at that point.
Yeah.
And they were saying the course really fits his game. Yeah, and then but his wife was ready to have a baby. So was he going to play? Was he not going to play? And she ended up, I think they had the baby within a week afterward,
Yeah.
and he became a father for the first time. So that was really special to see that occur, like on a green on 18th. Amongst the excitement of Payne Stewart winning the tournament, he knew the guy he was playing and beat, how in the race he had that frame of mind to know that, hey man, you're going to be a dad here soon. That's nothing better in life than being a father, and how special of a moment. So that's what sticks out. I remember where I was for a lot of great moments in golf because I've been a fan long before I started playing. Probably '86, the Masters, Jack Nicklaus. That probably got me into watching golf. But back to '99, that was the moment that stood out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have that statue of Payne Stewart doing that, his fist pump. And I don't know if you saw, but they made a logo of his, and like they put it around the course for it, and they did I'm not sure if you were watching at that time, but they did like a tribute video of his family. So I guess it was his kids and his grandchildren that I thought was pretty cool. That hopefully they put that out there on it to kind of rewatch. So I thought it was cool. I kind of forgot that Bryson and Payne Stewart whole narrative. I guess that's my fault for not doing my extra research, but I wasn't in the country to do that much research.
Since it's Father's Day, hold on. Since you've been the host here for a long time now, on Bunker to Bunker, we'll talk about some of your memories between you and I, right? Father, son. First time you played golf, we went to a chip and putt course. Great. We'll have to get you the photo. Maybe you'll pop it up here. But you, like one of the first holes, it was like a 45-yard hole, and you pop one on the green. Like, I don't know what club you hit at the time, but you were a little tiny tot. And I think I have a picture of you, like, pointing to, this is like, oh my God, look where the hole is, and you're standing by the ball. Right?
Yeah.
So awesome memory. But probably our favorite memory, and I'll tell it as quickly as I can. So one of our favorite courses, suburban Philadelphia, in Gilbertsville, called Bella Vista. Every July 4th, they do a two-man scramble. They call it the Old Glory tournament. Yeah. You were home at the time before you were in New York. And I said, hey, because you only went to New York, you started your job only a few weeks after that. So I said, hey, two of us will play. And we start on a par 3 in which you got to hit the right spot. We missed the slope. It went all the way down. And even in a two-man scramble, we 3-putted and took a bogey. The next hole is a blind shot downhill, water on your straight and right and left. And we both hit horrible shots. We both hit horrible second shots. We get on the green in 3. We putt 2-putt out. We took a double. That's right. We couldn't find. We took a double. So we started bogey on a par 3, then a double in a two-man scramble. We're like, are you kidding me? We go to number 9, which is the hardest hole in the course, and you rope a drive down there. I forget who got on the green. Maybe I got on the green, and then you putted it.
You hit your 4 hybrid, I think.
Right. Hit the 4 hybrid because even with your good drive, we were still a distance out, like 170 or something.
Yeah, that's your 4 hybrid.
Yeah, 4 5 hybrid. Get on, you make the putt, we get a bird. And we go to number 10, extreme dog leg left, but par 5, and if you catch the corner, you got a shot to get there in 2, and you hit the drive of your life. Right? We get up there, and we were just on, I think, the first, again, the short fringe, and I think I hit a 4 hybrid again, put one on the green in 2, and then you make the putt for eagle. So after 4 holes, which I've played a ton of tournament golf in the business world, I mean, 1,000,001 scrambles, but I never started bogey, double, birdie, eagle. And then after 4 holes, we were even par. So that was great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a ton of different shapes on the first 4 holes of that. I do remember that when we were over for eagle, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 feet, maybe. I remember I was like, this is like a must make, and you're like, like it's not. And I'm like, yeah, putt for eagle from 20 feet in a 2-minute scramble, and we're
Yeah.
2 over, and then we make that putt. Yeah, so
Yeah.
those were our good memories.
Yeah, it was fun. That's it.
And
And
stuff.
then I just played it again on Friday afternoon, right? And I was retelling the story because if I had someone that's new that as
Yeah,
we're pulling up the 9, I told the story, and I told the
yeah,
story to Gary the other day because I hadn't played with him at Bella Vista since that time. And I told him the story, and everyone goes, "That's the crazy first 4 holes I've ever heard in my
yeah.
life," and that's the craziest I ever played.
I mean, you said that's my best drive ever. I think my best drive ever is Pop Pop's tournament. That it was yourself, my uncle Mark, and my grandfather. He was always in this scramble tournament, and I'm pretty positive I got taken out of school. Remember again? I remember. I'm pretty. I think I don't know if he drove the night of or early in that morning, but I do remember myself being pulled out of school for a day to play in some.
Yeah.
So I remember I played.
That's right.
I played that golf match at what's that really nice course? The best public course in PA. The one out.
Glen Mills?
Yes, we played there. It was 9 holes. I remember. I think we might have driven that night of or before, but that course. I know Spencer Bloom. He is a podcast listener, and I remember I made a 9 on like the first hole, and still shot 48 or 49. After that, but that's another podcast. There's I forget how far this hole was, but you're playing from the senior tees because there's a lot of senior people, and my grandfather, I guess,
but you and I should not have been playing from those tees, but we cheated.
So, and I'll say that was probably
we followed his lead. We didn't cheat.
Yeah.
Your grandfather, my father, he cheated.
If I had to guess, it's probably like 280. I had to guess.
Yeah.
So I did drive that green. We 2-putt for birdie, and we didn't play well that day. We didn't win as a team, but I remember Pop was bragging to all his friends that my grandson drove the 13th hole or whatever hole that was, and that made his day.
And everyone was thinking that you hit from behind.
Yeah, I mean, they thought
330.
They thought I hit like a Bryson drive or like a Rory McIlroy drive when going all out for it. But you
don't need to provide every detail.
Well, yeah,
there's no pictures on the scorecard, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's his Father's Day in golf? Like the connection of Father's Day and golf. Kind of mean.
It's so synonymous with the U.S. Open. So I don't know if there's been a U.S. outside of COVID. I mean, U.S. Opens conclude on Father's Day. So, and we've had some great memories, and we didn't play today because you and your brother came back from Europe yesterday. But we've played some good. We've gotten out on Father's Day. I love that as a gift. That's just a play on the day and share it with the 3 of you guys. That's as good as a gift as I can get on Father's Day. I love the sport. It's something that our next door neighbor we were just talking to outside earlier today and yesterday. I mean, he's getting the itch to start playing. He went to the driving range yesterday. I mean, and people like that we're both in our 50s and early 50s.
Yeah,
we could play into our 70s. My father played until he was 76, 77 years old, and I know people in their 80s that played very good golf. So that's what's great about this game, and hopefully for many, many more Father's Days moving forward, we'll tee it up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure when the next time we'll play, but we have to get Jack and Justin back. We didn't have a great showing in our 2-man scramble a couple.
No, that's right. We didn't tell everyone about that. That was 3 weeks ago. Our first round, first round's out. We didn't play bad at all. They just played really well. Your youngest brother, who's 18, going to Penn State here in 8 days, he played phenomenal. Yeah, it's sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. I was proud of the way they played, and we played pretty well. They actually made a couple putts versus we didn't make any putts that day. It happens. Golf.
That's golf. I gotta get out there more and improve some things. But hopefully over July 4th I get out. But Dad, happy Father's Day to you. Thanks for everything you do for me. I thought this was the best gift I could give to recap honestly a thrilling ending. I thought this was way better than I thought. I was scared that Bryson would kind of pull away, but we had a great finish. Congrats to you.
Awesome.
My dad has won the Seagull boys have done a fancy draft where we draft. It's a snake draft. 6 players you draft. You take their best scores, and you tally them up, and who has the best score wins. And my dad is on a 2 major winning streak. We did it for every major. I won the Masters. He's on a 2 major winning streak. Justin and Jack have not won yet, so they will be in some debt to hopefully myself if I can win the British Open. But you've been hot there too, so maybe we'll have you on, and maybe you can give your own insight on who you enjoy or who you like at majors.
Let's review. I had Rory. Well, I should do it the other way around. I had Bryson, I had Rory, and I had Tony Finau.
Yeah.
So I had 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
So, and believe it or not, I had Sam Burns, who ended up finishing, I believe, even par.
Even. He was
after he struggled on Thursday for sure out of the gate.
Yeah.
So I thought he was going to be an early cut. So he did well. I'm trying to think the other 2. I don't think I had a missed cut. I was 6 for 6.
Yeah, I don't think you did. I mean, we really have to calculate it, honestly. Save some time.
Yeah.
But, Dad, this won't be the last time you come on. Maybe for the British Open. Thank you. All right. All right. Thanks, Dad.
See ya. Love you, buddy.